Hey guys, this is the Intermatic DT620 timer. These are the instructions that come with it. If you watch this video carefully, you won't need them. The timer uses two batteries. They're small watch-sized batteries. It's called an LR44. I'll provide an Amazon link in the description so that you can purchase these batteries. If you're reprogramming your timer, my recommendation is that you purchase new batteries and replace them before you reprogram the timer. The batteries are only used to save the program settings in the event of a power loss, but you can't replace the batteries without unplugging the timer. If you reprogram your timer without replacing the batteries and the batteries die, you'll have to unplug the timer and reprogram it before you can replace the batteries. Now, I am going to walk you through this at a pace that is going to allow you to program the timer while you're watching the video. So set up your phone in a place that you can see it while you're programming the timer, and let's get started. Once you unbox your timer, the first thing you'll want to do is turn it around and you'll see that there's a plastic tab sticking out of the battery enclosure. You're going to want to go ahead and remove that tab. The first screen the timer is going to take you to is going to show a time of 12 a.m. with the number 12 blinking. Remember with this timer as you program it that whatever is blinking is what you can currently toggle. So I'm going to set this timer for the current time of day, which is 6:34 p.m. To do that, I'm going to turn the dial until I get to 6, and I'm going to be careful to make sure that it's 6 p.m., not 6 a.m. When I'm seeing 6 p.m., I'm going to press OK. Now the minutes begin to blink. You can now turn that dial until you get to the current minute, and in my case, this is 6:35. When I'm looking at 6:35 p.m., I'm going to press OK. It now takes me to the date. I'm going to turn the dial to toggle the year and move this to 24, and I'm going to press OK. The month is January, so the number 1 is blinking, which is correct, and I'm going to press OK. The day is 26. In my case, I'm going to turn this to 26, and again, I'm going to press OK. Now, it might be hard to see, but you'll see it says day save and the word auto is blinking. Now, I could turn this dial and have it set to manual or auto. In the event that your state does not recognize daylight savings, you can turn it off. In my case, we do recognize it. So when I see day save auto blinking, and which is correct, I'm going to press OK. Now it says month 3, week 2. In most cases, you shouldn't have to adjust this. This is telling us when the timer is going to roll forward and backwards for spring and fall. The number 3 represents the month of March, and week 2 represents the second Sunday in March. So I'm going to press OK for the month, and I'm going to press OK for the week. Now it says 11/1 with 11 blinking. That's month 11, November, week 1. So the first Sunday in November is when it's going to roll back an hour. I'm going to press OK for 11, and I'm going to press OK again for the number 1. Now it's asking me what state I live in. In my case, it's the state of Nevada. So I'm going to turn the dial until I get to NV, and then I'm going to press OK. It's now asking me what part of the state of Nevada that I live in. Here in Las Vegas, we are in the southeast part of the state. When I'm seeing my state and southeast, I'm going to press OK. Time zone is Pacific, which is correct in my case, so I'll press OK. Now, based on all of the parameters you just entered, the month, the time, and the location that you live, it is telling me that dawn is at 6:44 a.m. I find this to be extremely accurate, and in most cases doesn't need to be changed. If you live near mountains or in a highly wooded area where it tends to get darker a little bit sooner, you do have the ability to roll back the time on this, and it'll still adjust accordingly throughout the year. Remember, as we go through this portion of the programming, that this is an astronomical timer, which means that by setting our date and location, this timer is going to automatically adjust for what time dusk and dawn is, should we choose to use those settings of the timer. So when I'm looking at 6:44 a.m. for dawn, which is correct, I'm going to press OK. Now it says 4:58 p.m., which is representing dusk. Again, for me, this number is correct, so I'm going to press OK. Once I've done this, I've completed the location and date time settings. I now need to program my settings for when I want the timer to turn on and off. The most common mistake you can make when programming this timer is that you are now in the habit of pressing OK when you're seeing what is blinking and that it's correct. You need to retrain yourself to press the program button instead of pressing OK throughout this process. When I press program, the number 1 is blinking. This is for event number 1. If I press program again, the word skip is blinking. In my case, I want to program the timer to go on at dusk. And I think for most people using this timer to control a landscape lighting system, your program setting for this is going to be the same. So when I'm seeing the word dusk, it's very small up here in the upper left corner. You need to be careful that you've got it correctly set to go on at dusk. My timer is currently flashing the word off, so I'm going to adjust until I see the word on blinking right up here in the upper left-hand corner. When I'm seeing on event number 1 at dusk, which is correct, I am going to press the program button. I now have the days of the week blinking. When I see 7 days a week blinking, I'm going to press program again. It is now taking me to the second event. Now, with this timer, you can have it run from dusk till dawn and function as a photo cell, even if you have it in an enclosure in a garage where you don't need the actual sensor. In our case here for event number 2, I'm going to go ahead and set it for a specific time so that I can show you what that looks like. If you want to set it to go off at dawn, you'll follow the same exact process as you just did for dusk. To set a specific time, it's just a little bit different. So again, when I see event number 2 blinking, I'm going to press program. And it's now taking me, it says on at dusk. I'm going to turn the dial until I get to off and it shows 12 a.m. I'm not so concerned with the exact time right now. I'm more concerned with the fact that I want the system to turn off. So when I'm seeing the word off blinking, I'm going to press program again. And now I've got the days of the week blinking. When I see 7 days a week, which is what I want the timer to run, I'm going to press program again. And now you have the ability to change the hour. I'm going to turn the toggle switch here until I get to the number 2, designating 2 o'clock a.m. I'm going to press program one more time. And I have the ability to change the minutes. In my case, I'm going to leave it set for 2 a.m. and I'm going to press program again. It's now taken me to the third event. In most cases, you're only going to have an on time and an off time 7 days a week programmed into your timer. It's a good habit at this point to go ahead and turn the roller. There's 28 program settings that you can program into this timer. I'm going to scroll through all 28 and I'm going to make sure that I see these 3 hash marks here showing that there's nothing programmed there. So one more time, as I go through the beginning, I see I'm double checking my working, making sure that everything is saved in here properly. I've got event number 1 shown as on at dusk 7 days a week. I see event number 2 programmed as off at 2 a.m. 7 days a week. And again, I'm scrolling through the other 28 settings to make sure that there's nothing accidentally programmed in these other settings. Once I'm confident that my program settings are correct, now you can go ahead and press OK. This will take you back to the main screen showing your current time of day. And above the current time of day, you'll see that it says the word auto. It's very important that before you walk away from your timer that it's set to the auto position. This is going to tell the timer to turn on and off at the program settings that you have programmed within the timer. If you were to press the mode button again, it would go to give you the option of random, clock, which would bring you back into the clock and location settings, manual, which would only turn on and off when you manually press the on and off button, and again, auto, which is going to automatically turn on and off with the program settings that we just programmed into the timer. Once you're confident all your settings are correct, you've now completed the programming of your timer. If you'd like to test your transformer and make sure that everything works, the on and off button here on the left-hand side can be pressed at any time with no fear of erasing any of the program settings. It's only when you press the mode and program buttons that you can potentially accidentally program or erase something that's in your timer. But feel free to press that on and off button at any time if you want to turn your lights on during the day. Plug your timer in. When you press the on button, this green light here will go on. So the green light is going to indicate that the timer is set to the on position and it should be pushing power through to your transformer. Your lights should be on at that time. If you press the on and off button again, that green light will go off. The same functionality happens at dusk when your lights go on, and the same functionality happens when your lights are supposed to go off. You've now completed programming your Intermatic DT620 timer. If you don't think this is your last time that you'll be programming one of these timers, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Thanks for watching.